Hi, I'm Sam from Barn2, and welcome to this tutorial on how to allow front-end product submission on your WooCommerce store. Today, I'll show you step-by-step how to set up a form on your website that looks like this and enables vendors and third parties to add their own products to your website. Then I'll show you how to display those products in a responsive table layout like this one. The best use case for this front-end product submission is any kind of multi-vendor store on WooCommerce. That is a situation where any third party can add their products to your Woo store and sell them through your website. So for example, maybe you're creating a website for a food festival and you want to allow each restaurant owner to add their menu items as WooCommerce products. However, this is also useful if you are the only seller on your website, but perhaps you have an assistant. You don't want to teach them how to go through the back end of WordPress, so you can create this form for them and they can add products for you using the form. Here's the two plugins you'll need for the first part of this tutorial. First up, we have Gravity Forms. This is the core form builder that you'll use to build the structure of your form. The second one is Gravity Forms plus Custom Post Types. Now, by default, Gravity Forms form to post functionality creates a standard WordPress post. When added to Gravity Forms, this free plugin lets you change the post type to a WooCommerce product instead. Then in part 2, I'll also make sure you know how to use the WooCommerce Product Table plugin in order to make a list of products which looks like this. It's responsive and it can be sorted, filtered, or searched by the customers. And the big part is you can also sort by vendors. So each restaurant owner or third-party vendor can have their own separate list just for their products, and customers can see them on different pages. So you'll need to install both of those plugins for the first part, and for the second part, I'll explain how to install the WooCommerce Product Table plugin as well. But let's get started with part 1, building the actual form which vendors will use to submit their products. So first we'll go from our WordPress dashboard to the New Forms section, and we're going to go New Form. I'm going to give this a title. I suggest titling it something like Product Submissions. This is my second form for product submissions, so I'm just going to say number 2. And we're going to add a description here. We're going to create that form, and it's going to take us to a blank canvas here. And just like some of the other WordPress themes like Elementor, we have a drag and drop feature to build this form. So we're going to start over on the left. The first thing we're going to drag in under the post fields is the title. I'm going to drag that title in, drop it in there, and we're going to update that with the settings here. So we'll give this a title, we'll call it Product Submission. Okay, and we can add a description, of course, but we're actually going to be concerned more about playing around with some of the settings here. So the first main setting we need to change is the post type. We're going to change that from posts to products. This is changing it from a WordPress form to a WooCommerce form. That's why we had to add the second free plugin to the Gravity Forms plugin. Next, we're going to leave this post status as a draft, or you can choose pending review. This will allow you to moderate all of the submissions before they go on your website. Don't worry about the post author, that's not important here. And the post category, we're going to switch that to uncategorized or whatever category you need it to be based on what types of categories you have set up. And the last thing is we'll make it a requirement to add a title for your product submission. That's where people will actually write what the product is, the title of the product. Now we're going to save the form, but we're not done yet. We need to add some more details about the product. For example, an image, a description, a price, and a few other things. So I'll walk you through the basic settings here, and we'll jump into some more details on some of the more complicated ones as we go through. So next, let's add a featured image. We're going to go add fields. From post fields, this is down from the standard fields. We have post fields here at the bottom, and we're going to add post image. Now we'll just edit that title to say feature image or product image. Either one works. You can describe what it is, but I think it's pretty straightforward. You can add these little image metadata. So for example, alt text, that can also be added as well. I'm not going to bother today. We're going to set as featured image. Now that's important. and we're going to require it. So every item that you want on your store must have an image as well. Let's save that and keep going. Next, we're going to add a description. So we can add a body or excerpt text. Either one works. So for example, here, I'll drag it in below the title. Now this body text, we're just going to edit that a little bit. For example, we're going to say description. Everything else is the same, and we're just going to set it as required as well. So every product also needs to have a short description. Now, if you want to, you can add the excerpt instead of the body. You can add both. You can have a short description and a long description. This is where your customization features are really just endless. So don't worry too much about the details. Just try to stick to what you know you need for your store. Now the tricky one, how to add prices and stock status and shipping weights and all that. This is where we need to get a little tricky with how we use the interface here. So let's add field, and from here, we're going to add a custom field. Now this post custom field, we need to change the name, first of all, to price. Good. And we're going to change the field type from single line text to a number. We're going to set a new custom field, name. Now, the reason we're doing this is because Gravity Forms doesn't let you select most WooCommerce fields from the existing dropdown. So we're going to actually create that one. For price, we're going to go underscore, regular, underscore, price. And the number format's fine. We can set a minimum range, for example, 0 as the minimum. And finally, we will require that the price be added. Every product needs a price in order to be in your store. Now let's save that. And I'll give you one more example in case you wanted to add something else like shipping weight. It's very similar to price. It's only a slight difference. I'll show you. So let's actually duplicate the price. And let's change a couple of things. First of all, this is going to become shipping weight. And then field type is also going to be a number. We're still going to have new, but instead of underscore regular price, we're going to have underscore weight. The number format's fine, the range is fine, and we're going to keep it as required. Finally, let's cover how to let your vendors or third-party users select a product category and also tags. So let's see how that looks. You might be tempted to think that you can add category from the post fields, but what we're actually going to do is go standard field, and we're going to choose one of either the drop-down, multi-select checkboxes, or radio buttons. Now in this case, I'm going to just choose the checkboxes. I'm going to drag that over, and we'll change the title from untitled to category. And this will allow your vendors to choose multiple categories. Now we're going to edit the choices under advanced. This is what we want. We're going to populate with taxonomy, and we're going to select product categories. Under general, we can make this required, so they must choose a category for the product, or we can leave it optional. And next, we want to add tags as well. For tags, we can actually add a single line text. This will allow your vendors and third-party users to add their own custom tags as well as choose from the tags that we already have. So we're adding product tags here. So let's edit that. Product tags, and go to advanced, save to taxonomy, and we're going to select product tags. We're going to also enable enhanced UI. This is going to make it so the tags autocomplete when they start typing. Let's save that form. Okay, that was a lot, but we're basically done all the hard work. Now we just got to put it all together and change a few of the settings on the Gravity Forms backend so that our form is all ready to go on our website. Let's see. Now under the form editor, way down the bottom here, we want to change this submit to something like submit product. And we'll save that. The last few settings are, for example, if we come here to settings, we're going to change the title to whatever we want it to be, as we had it before. And we're going to require users to be logged in. This will prevent random users from having access to our form. Now, of course, this is only if you've set up the users with a login credentials in the first place. So you have to figure out which is right for your website. Save settings, good. Last settings can be in the confirmations. You would just want to change the content to here so that it actually makes sense for the vendor. So instead of saying thanks for contacting us, you might want to say thanks for submitting your product. Okay, save there. And under notifications, you want to edit the type of notifications that you're getting and where they're going to. So you might want to update the email address and what kind of email you get from the Gravity forms as soon as a product is submitted to your website. All right, so we've completed our form. We've set it up exactly how we want. Now we just need to add it to our website so people can actually access it and we can test it out and see how it works. So we're going to go to our WordPress dashboard and create a page. And in the page editor, we can find the form. So we can hit the block inserter. And from here, I can search for Gravity and we can see Gravity forms. And if we drag and drop that here, it'll allow us to choose the form. So in this case, product submissions 2, I've already added it here, so I'm not going to select it again. And then we're going to publish this. Now here is what the form looks like on the front end of our website. Now let's have a little play around with it. So let's add a yoga mat. We need to add a description. So we'll just go pink, large, with flower pattern, let's say. Cool, we'll choose a file for the image. Nice. And we need a price, so let's say 15. Actually, let's put the full price at 20, and the sale price will be 15. Shipping weight, let's say 300. All right, and this would come under health and fitness. And the tags will put yoga, see how it auto-populates there. And we can put sport and any others that we like. Now let's submit the product. Now if we go to the products page, so we see it's been added as a new product. We can edit this here and we can approve the post as well. Now, you may want to restrict who can add a product to your form. We set that up in the settings. Now, if you'd rather, you can just set up a general password using WordPress's password protection for the entire page. So let's see how that looks. So if we look at our pages here and sort by date, our latest one here. And now what we can do is quick edit here. We can add a password and then we can update that. Now it's password protected. So you can send this password along with the link to your submission form to your vendors, and they can upload their products using the password as a layer of protection to prevent anyone else from uploading products that you don't want on your site. Okay, super important change you may want to make. You probably want your vendors to upload their products into a separate display area. So basically each vendor has their own place for their products. Instead of listing every vendor's products on the same price list, we're going to list them separately. So here's what we need to do to make that happen. First thing we need is the Easy Post Types plugin from Barn2. This is a free plugin and it's going to be useful across your entire WordPress site. So I highly recommend checking it out and downloading it anyways. You can get that from our website and it'll also be linked in the description below, but it's free. So we'll just click, get it free. And we'll be able to download and install that. So once we've downloaded it, we'll go to our plugins page. We're going to go add new, and we're going to upload it. And you're going to choose the file, okay? In this case, I've already installed it, so nothing really to worry about there. Easy post types and fields, and make sure it's activated. So we're going to navigate to post types after refreshing the page. And we're going to click on other post types. And you're going to see here under products, I've added the taxonomy for vendors. So I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to click taxonomies. Good. And you can see I added this one. So when I click edit, this is what you need to type in. You need to type in vendor, vendors, and the slug should autocomplete there. This is not a hierarchical structure. Each vendor is going to have its own separate page, and they're not going to be nested underneath each other. Okay, that's up to you to decide, of course, but this is what I recommend. Now you're going to update the taxonomy. Okay, and then we're going to go back to our form. We're going to go edit the form that we've been working on. And we're going to add a drop down. This is going to be the easiest one for the vendors to select their own name. So we'll just change the field label to vendor. We're going to make that required. And under advanced, we're going to populate with taxonomy and select vendors. Okay. Now, because we created a separate custom taxonomy, we have this ready to go. If you didn't set up this with the custom post types, you will not see this option for product vendor. So we'll save the form. And now when we're actually looking at the form itself, we need a password first of all. Nice, and now we're in. So when we go here, we can actually select which vendor we are. So if we're Barn2 Sports or something else. Now this list of vendors is something that you will need to update ahead of time in order for this drop-down list to be populated with anything. Okay, it's time for part 2, in which we are going to add all those new lovely products into a lovely product table, which looks like this. Okay, so to do that, like I said, we need the WooCommerce Product Table. You can purchase the plugin, or if you have an all access pass, you'll be able to download that. I will jump ahead to the part where I've already added the plugin and installed it, just like we did the other Barn2 plugin from earlier in the tutorial. We will see it here in our list, WooCommerce Product Tables. Make sure it's activated. If you are installing it for the first time, you will probably go through the setup wizard. So I'll show you how that works now. First thing we need is our license key, which you'll receive when you purchase the plugin. Now, in the store pages, where do we want to display our product tables? You may not want them to be displayed anywhere. If you uncheck all of these, you can customize where this product table will show up later. Now the columns, this is pretty important. So what are people going to see when they load this table with all of the products? So for example, we have the product image, name, the category, the price, and a buy column. This is pretty handy, but there are a couple more that you can add. For example, you can say add to cart. So we can add to cart. All right, and we'll go next. Add to cart method can be checkboxes, and we need quantities visible, that's fine. Variations show as drop-down lists. Yes, we want to show that way. Product filters can be shown based on table content or customized. So in this case, we have categories, tags, and the color. For example, instead of colors, it might be vegetarian or vegan friendly or something like that, depending on what kind of attributes your products have. Now let's go to the settings page. You can always reach this settings page by going WooCommerce settings and then clicking on products and then product tables. All right, now let's decide exactly how and where we want to display these tables. To add this price list or product table to your website, we're going to use a shortcode. So we're going to go to our WordPress dashboard. We're going to add a new page, and we're going to add the shortcode. From here, you can search for shortcode and drag and drop this onto your page here, like I've got. And then you're going to type the shortcode, which looks like this. Okay. And this shortcode is going to specify the vendor for which this table is going to present all the products. So we need this product underscore vendor. Barn2 Sports is the actual vendor, which we can see here on this page for WooCommerce products and vendors down here. And here is the actual vendor itself, but this is the slug. So we're going to copy this slug and put it in the shortcode here, just like that. And we're going to preview that here. And now you can see, now it says Barn2 Sports Product Table, and we have the price, and we have the Buy Now buttons, and it's fully responsive depending on how many columns you want to add. That is the basics of how to add the shortcode for the different vendors. Obviously, if you want to just have all your products in one place, there are plenty of tutorials we have on our website about how to modify the WooCommerce product table, which I will link in the description below, and I will add a card here for another video that we made as well. All right, well done. That was incredible. You just went through this entire tutorial and set up a form and added as well a product table for the customers to be able to view it and add things to their cart very easily. So by combining a bunch of different plugins, including Gravity Forms, the custom post types, and the WooCommerce product table, we were able to create a whole new functionality for our store, which is going to completely change how we actually interact with and how customers and vendors can interact with our store. Now, of course, please check out the description for all the relevant links that I mentioned in this video, as well as a link to our complete written tutorial for this, which is what the video is based off of. And remember, if you purchase any plugins from Barn2, they all come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you don't have to worry about anything. You can give them a go, and you can safely return them if they're not quite right for you. Finally, if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and share it with some other WooCommerce store owners that might benefit from this information. But that's all from me today, and thank you so much for watching.